It's time for our next mission, pilots. The Newtype Challenge 2 is almost here. I'm sharing with you the 4 decks that I believe give you the best chance at winning. What's up, pilots? It's Garrett with Talking Cards, and today we're talking Newtype Challenge 2. The first Newtype Challenge, we were in the world of the Witch from Mercury. We got to win the Aerial Rebuild, select a pilot, and Overflowing Affection as our promo entry. This time around, we're in the world of Zeta. We get the Zeta Gundam for our unit, we get Camille as our pilot, and we get another command that draws us cards for our promo entry. Well, I love these events. I think they're a great way for some players to just kind of get introduced into competitive play where they have the chance to win prize cards. And they're also just fun events where you get promo cards for entering, and they're just good for the community overall. And with that being said, I want to give you guys the best chance at winning these events. I believe these 4 decks I'm about to share with you give you the best chance at winning the Newtype Challenge. First, let's talk about the deck that got me my invite to Nats, and I got 4th place with at the Canada Regional, Green-White, Wing Zero. Now, the deck, I'll be honest with you, hasn't evolved greatly. We've added Rick Diaz, and we've changed some things up for the meta. I believe the meta will be Green-White, Wing Zero, Blue-White blockers, Blue-Purple ping, we'll call it, and then you have, of course, Green-Blue 1 Year War. These 4 decks, I believe, make up the meta with Green-White, Wing Zero, and Green-Blue being right at the top. I would say this is tier 1. I would say tier 1.5 is Blue-White and Blue-Purple though. These 4 decks I think are the decks that we should be centered on, and the decks that I will also be featuring here today. So there's a little foreshadowing. I think these are the 4 best decks for the Newtype Challenge. And with that in mind, we have to kind of adapt Green-White Wing Zero to that meta. So we've seen some people include Shenlong. And we'll talk Shenlong for a second because I think that's the biggest change, right, for my list from Canada. I've cut the Freedom here and I've added 2 Shenlong. I think Shenlong's really good because it's a great curve out play, especially in the bird mode version. Since I'm playing bird, I get to go, when I'm going first, from level 3 to level 5. And by playing 4 Ale and 2 Shenlong, it gives me 6 units that I can be played on level 5. That's great for me. And if I'm going second, I get to go straight to level 6. So on that turn, I could play, any of my 4 Ale, any of my 2 Shenlong, or even my 4 Wing Gundam. Any of those cards can come down on that level 6. So because of that, I feel like this gives me a really good curve out. And let's say I missed the bird mode, I still have all the early game blockers as well as Launcher Strike to try to help me get to those higher levels. And we'll talk about my blocker breakdown a little here. Because I'm running Wing Gundam bird mode, I'm on 4 Zoward. I think 4 Zoward is really good for the curve out. If I only am at level 2, Zoward gives me something to play before level 3, where my level 3 is very fought for, right? Like Wing Gundam bird mode can go down that turn, Rick Diaz can go down that turn, and Gundam Livrith can go down that turn. I don't need more blockers and more cards to compete on that level. So because of that, I'm playing 4 Zoward. If I was to switch anything up and cut bird mode, now I would mess with the ratios a little. Zoward would come down probably to 3 or 2, and Rick Diaz would go up. And I think those are the things to think about. Be conscious of your curve. And I like Launcher Strike right now over Sword because Launcher Strike gives me more since I'm not running Hawk right now. And if I don't see the pilot, Launcher Strike is still a blocker that can, stymie 1 Year War to some degree. And it can interact with the turn it's played, right? Like I can play it down and then on their turn block instantly. So it gives me a way to create favorable trades and get another unit in there that can kind of halt the progress of these aggro decks like 1 Year War and even Blue-Purple ping. So with that being said, I will say that our strategy hasn't changed from set 1. It's still Green-White Wing Zero. We are still blocking and trying to get to our late game where we have more decisions and our decision tree starts to open up and we can find the best lines of play to try to find our win con and win the game. That's still the strategy, and I think that'll be the strategy for the foreseeable future. And I really like Green-White Wing Zero going into these Newtype challenges. So let's move on to the next deck. While we're on the topic of Green-White Wing Zero, let me plug my GDO2 Green-White Wing Zero Metafy guide. I've spent a lot of hours updating this guide, adding new videos to every chapter, and sharing with you guys various deck lists for every kind of meta. In the guide, I go over certain strategies for certain matchups, as well as share with you all my thoughts on Green White Wing Zero. So if you're looking for an advantage this Newtype Challenge 2 season, go check out my guide. Also, while you're there, check out my GDO2 Regional and Newtype Challenge 2 Masterclass. Make my experience your experience. I'll be doing a meta breakdown as well as going over my deck list for every meta deck, sharing with you guys certain fundamentals, and even breaking down certain gameplay with commentary. And then also on top of that, playing games with you all. You guys get to ask me a Q&A and anything while these games are being played. So it's a really good way to take that next step. Now, let's get back to the video. So Blue-White got 2 cards this set that have kind of elevated it. Rick Diaz is another blocker that made Blue-White even better. And I'd say Rick Diaz is even more crucial to Blue-White than it is to Green-White. The other card is Aerial Rebuild. It's really good, it has high maneuver, and you don't have to do anything to earn that high maneuver. And then when paired, if you have 4 commands in your trash, well, it becomes a blocker too. So that card is fantastic. I think that card could even go into Green White Wing Zero. I've been messing with certain ratios in that deck to try to make it fit because that card is really fantastic. So Blue-White is still doing the same things it was doing last set, and it really just can really grind you down and win in the later games by having card advantage. This deck will out card advantage you in a lot of ways. Freedom, aerial rebuilds, they don't even get hit by Wing Zero. So there's a lot of play around for Green White Wing Zero with this deck. I find the matchup actually kind of hard with Green White Wing Zero right now. And I also think the fact that this list plays aerial rebuild that also can grab a command, they can get crafty with things like naval bombardment, striker packs, and even show of resolve and just out resource you. So this deck is definitely a big threat this set, and I think it could win numerous Newtype challenges. You will not go wrong picking this deck for your Newtype challenge. If you like this style of play, go for it. This is a fantastic deck, and I don't think it's ever been better. So, with that being said, let's go on to our next deck, maybe the boogeyman of the format. So I've got bad news for the green-blue one-year war haters out there. The deck's still really, really good. And it might be the boogeyman of the format. I don't know, it's too early to tell. But Green-Blue One-Year War is still definitely a deck that's gonna be played. The inclusion of Rick Diaz in this set in GDO2 and into the Green-White and Blue-White decks has not stopped Green-Blue, if that makes sense. Green-Blue can still do what it wants to do. It still has high maneuver, and it still has Armor Array to get around those pesky blockers, and it's just so efficient. The deck really is super efficient and super consistent. For all the times it's attacking at your shields, you'll have to trade into, Green-Blue's units to try to remove these off the board and stop the pressure they're applying. Well, Green-Blue just gets to keep attacking at shields and trade really optimally due to things like Gun Tank and Anksha. These 8 pingers allow them to just get so much value by trading better than you are, and they get to just swing all their attacks into your shields. The only real new inclusion is some people are playing Turning Point of History. This list did really well in the East and won a regional pod. That's how they do their regionals over there. And this deck, you could argue it's still the same as last set, and you really could just go put 2 Show of Resolve back in the deck and lose the Turning Point of History and lose 1 level 2 cost 1 unit. And it would still be great. Like, you could literally play the list that won Canada and Dallas regionals, and you'd still be fine. The deck's still really good, and I expect this deck to win a lot of Newtype challenges. If your meta leans heavy green-blue, definitely try to find ways to, change things in your list or do whatever you have to do to beat this deck, because it is going to be very present at the Newtype challenges. Lastly, let's talk about the deck that got the biggest upgrades from GDO2, Blue Purple Ping. I think Blue Purple Ping got the biggest upgrades in GDO2. We got Gun in Barbados first form, we got Gujin who's just a purple blocker that gives you ping damage, pings one of your units and one of your opponents, and that could be such a good thing even in this deck. You ping your Barbados first form, and next thing you know, you're drawing a card when you attack. That's just one of the things this deck can do that's brand new to it. I think just the fact that we just got a blocker even, that's really good for this deck. You can attach a Mikazuki onto Gujin, and next thing you know, it can be a 5-6 unit that can be rested with Amuro Ray as long as you don't choose Gujin as your ping damage when you have to ping yourself. I really think this deck is good. It's super fast, just like green-blue. It's very aggressive, but due to the additional pingers, I mean, you have literally 16 pingers in this deck with 4 Gun Tank, 4 Anksha, 4 Gujin, and then 4 Mikazuki. That gives you like 16 pingers, and this deck is very good because of that. You get to trade very effectively. And another card unique to this archetype is Fatal Strike. Fatal Strike being able to remove Rick Diaz's, Rick Doms, Livriths, all those things that are so annoying in the early game is such a strong response. You still run Corsica in this deck because you want to create a unit, and in my list particular, I only run 4 Barbados First Form and 1 Hayakuren. And I think that could change. I'm on 1 Gun and Barbados Fourth Form because I think it can close out a game. I think it's a little high roll, and I just think it's a fun card, so I like it at a 1 of. And it just gives me another boss monster and another link with Mikazuki. So for those reasons, I play 1. So to make room for that, I cut 1 Hayakuren, and I will say I play 4 Gem right now, but I think the Hyzak's the cooler card. But I play 4 Gem because I want my opponent to think when I play Gem out that I could be on green-blue. I never want to give my opponent more information than I need to. So if green-blue 1-Year War is playing 4 Gem, I'm going to play 4 Gem because I want my opponent to not know what deck they're up against for as long as I can keep that up. And if they have to make a decision like Overflowing Affection and then they discard a card thinking that they're playing around green-blue 1-Year War, but really they're playing against blue-purple ping, that can just give me an advantage that I didn't have to do anything for to get, right? So little things like that, I think you should change always and play with the meta. Like for example, if green-blue 1-Year War started playing 4 Hyzak instead of 4 Gem, then we're playing 4 Hyzak because we want to make our opponent really think about what they're going up against. I really believe blue-purple ping is going to be a force to be reckoned with this Newtype Challenge 2 season. I think it's fast, I think it's fun, and I think it's super consistent. I would not be surprised if this is one of the more popular decks in the Newtype Challenge 2 format, and I think you're going to see it win a lot. I believe these 4 decks give you the best chance at winning the Newtype Challenge 2. But maybe you're not a competitive player. Maybe you just want to go collect participation and have fun with your pet deck. That's totally fine too. That's the great thing about card games. But if you do want to win one of those Zeta Gundams, I recommend one of these 4 decks shown in this video. Tinker with it and have fun. And guys, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. I love reading your guys' comments, and I don't want you guys to miss any future content that I make for the Gundam card game. So please, like I said, like and subscribe so you don't miss out, and thanks for watching.